Welcome to the stream. Welcome to the stream. It's Saturday. We're here to finish Someutsushi. I think we can finish it tonight. Or today. Not tonight. I said tonight, but I meant today. And then we're going to, what is this? Getting a FaceTime. No. I can't do that. I literally just went live. Maybe if I ignore it, they'll go away. I didn't want to answer that at the moment. I'm in reading mode. Here, let me text them back real quick. I texted, is it really important? I'm waiting for a response. All right, so as I was saying, we'll I'll take the call if I need to in a second. I'll just pause the recording. It'll be okay. I'm waiting. Waiting for a response. What's this? Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna say it's not important then. Filter the calls. So yeah, welcome to the stream. Where was I? We're gonna finish Someutsushi today, I'm pretty sure, depending on however long that takes. And if it's super short, and if I don't get summoned to something else this afternoon, then maybe we'll start something else new today. I have a couple options. I haven't fully decided. I'm kind of still, we're in like a weird limbo. But I think we either, if we play more, we can either play more blueprints, of course, or we start one of two new games. One on the longer side, one on the very shorter side. And I don't know which one would be smarter. There's reasons for both, but we'll worry about that later. First, it's Someutsushi. Last time we read on Tuesday, I believe it was, we had the horrific family scene go down. Multiple people dying quickly. Instances of dying. And then at the very end, it seemed like maybe it was a tease that it was all a dream. Unsure. Unsure, though. Everyone has had to sit on that. Is it a lie? Is it a dream? Did I just wake up from a horrible dream type situation? Nightmare, you could call it. So let's get right into it. It's seeming like it was a nightmare. When I sat up, the blanket lying on my chest fell forward and rolled down to my knees. At the same time, beads of sweat from my forehead dripped down on the thighs of my pajamas, leaving a number of stains. I held down my throbbing chest to remedy my hoarse breathing. Nay, hoarse breathing. My heart was pounding fast and beating hard. It really seemed like it was about to be crushed. I couldn't stop trembling. Sweat was flowing through my whole body like a waterfall. My limbs were shaking loud enough to be audible, and the clattering of my back teeth was making a bizarre sound. My hair was sticking to my forehead, my neck and my cheeks making me feel gross. Slowly, after finally, managing to catch my breath, I timidly lifted my head. This is my room. Right, this is my room in my house. I slowly looked back at the alarm clock on the side of my desk. It was around 7 o'clock. The second hand continued moving like usual. From out the window, I could hear the cry of a sparrow. Sunlight brightly shone in through the window with the curtains open wide, telling me it was morning. I exhaled a deep sigh of relief, large enough to empty my lungs. As I gradually woke up and began to recognize the view in front of me was reality, I could feel all the dark and heavy emotions enveloping my heart. The despair, fear, and confusion slowly disappear. Thank goodness, it was a dream. Phew. Thinking about it calmly, it was a strange dream. Mom killed Grandma after a lengthy argument, then Dad and I cooperated to hide the body. But when it was discovered, Mom killed Dad and tried to kill me in a fit of paranoia, attacking with a kitchen knife. Ridiculous. I shook my head and bitterly laughed. Sorry, I'm gonna just audio slightly, and I'm like something in my throat. I shook my head and bitterly laughed at myself for being frightened by a dream. Seriously, what a ridiculous dream. It was like that bad horror movie I saw on TV the other day. No matter how strong-willed Mom is, I don't think she's the kind of person who would lose all reason and kill Grandma, and not to mention the notion of her killing Dad seems absolutely impossible. It was so obviously unrealistic. It seemed like I took a story I saw somewhere else and replaced the characters with people I knew. It was an irresponsible nightmare. I'm sweaty and sticky. If I had a nickel for every time I said that. I looked at my pajamas. They were drenched with sweat like they'd been through rain. This might have been the first time in my life I experienced a night sweat like this. The sheets were damp too. It was a little uncomfortable. Mom will have to wash these sheets, and I'll have to dry out the bed. I got off the bed, tossed the blanket to my desk, and yanked the sheet off. There was a huge stain on top of the thin mattress, so I folded it into quarters, intending to wash it too. But I wonder if it'll dry by the end of the day. Since we have a large washer, we can even wash futons. But when it comes to drying it off, that depends on the weather. I thought that while walking toward the window, then opened it. A refreshing morning breeze blew in, sun shining bright while hanging low in the sky. I tilted my head back and looked up at the sky. There were only a few scattered clouds. It looked like today would be a nice day, so for now, I didn't need to worry about the laundry. This feels nice. The break of dawn has already passed, but I think this was the first time in a long time that I woke up this early. I'm always making preparations for tomorrow's classes late at night while listening to the radio, so I habitually stay in bed until the last minute in the morning. Even so, I went to school on Monday morning feeling half asleep, but for some reason my head was clear today and I didn't feel sleepy at all. Well, back in Hinamazawa, I woke up at this time without anyone waking me up, so it wasn't a big deal or anything. Enough of that. I murmured that while shaking my head, then sighed. That's right, I've thrown away my ties to Hinamazawa, so it doesn't matter what happened in the past. I'll forget everything, cast off the shackles, and live as a resident of the city. And I'll study more and more. I'll fight against the people around me and narrowly pull ahead of them, just like everyone else in the city, and do my best to get into the same university as Akira-kun. That may be impossible. It might be too late now. No, that's what other people decide on their own. I won't accept that nonsense anymore. I'll believe in myself and earn my own happiness right here, right now. For sure. So, Hinamazawa doesn't matter anymore. It won't interfere with my life ever again. No matter who asks, no matter what the question is, they'll never find out. I'm a resident of this town, Natsumi Kimiyoshi. No, I'll throw away the name Kimiyoshi too. I'm Natsumi, that's all. That alone is enough. She's like one of those celebrities that goes by just one name. From now on, I want everyone, even Akira-kun, to call me Natsumi. By doing that, I can throw away everything tying me to Hinamazawa. And I can live happily in the city. That's right, Akira-kun. I suddenly recalled the previous day. During our precious date, I suddenly fell ill and Akira-kun brought me back here. When I head to school, I'll apologize right away, and next time I'll be the one to invite him on a date. I'll wear more beautiful, more fashionable clothes. I know, I'll look into the best restaurants in the city until that day comes. I'll thoroughly prepare myself. I'll do my absolute best to make Akira-kun happy. Then he'll surely acknowledge me. He'll love me more and more. Nothing will go wrong. Alright. Feeling fired up, I energetically nodded. It all begins here. The story of the new me trying my best. Alright then. What's that? I opened my door with the futon and sheets in hand, but as soon as I entered the hallway by the stairs, I frowned at the bizarre air I was faced with. What in the world was this heavy air? And it smelled fishy. You could say it smelled like a beast. Suddenly, my nightmare from a little while ago came back to my mind. I sternly shook it off and walked down the hallway. I'm overthinking this. My dream a little while ago was really shocking, so it must still be haunting me, that's all. That's right, it's impossible, isn't it? For my whole family to have been killed, and me being the sole survivor. You think that if my whole family was murdered, I'd be no exception to that, wouldn't I? I would have been killed in my sleep, like by being stabbed or strangled or something. But I'm still alive. If that's the case, isn't that proof that nothing happened? Wouldn't that be the case? Also, even though I occasionally hear about those sorts of gruesome incidents on TV, they don't happen just anywhere at any time. They happen to someone very unlucky, to families with no connection to me that live far away from the city. So it couldn't happen around me. Definitely couldn't happen. They say that a murder is the kind of thing that happens near you only once in a lifetime. Well, I already experienced an incident like that, so I shouldn't come across another one ever again, right? I can say with confidence that the possibility of it happening twice in a lifetime is almost zero, right? Say it. Someone, please say it's so. Please reassure me that nothing strange will happen around me ever again. My heart was violently beating again, slamming hard against my chest from the inside. I could barely breathe, almost like I was being strangled and my trachea was getting crushed. Despite that, I mustered my willpower and walked down the hallway, reinvigorating my fading senses. Finally, I reached the stairs, and slowly, placing careful pressure into the soles of my feet, I made my way downstairs one step at a time. Tap, 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 pat, tap, 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 pat, pat, pat. That's strange. That's really strange. Why do I hear another set of footsteps after my own? There shouldn't be anyone on the second floor right now. Mom should be making breakfast while Dad watches the morning news in the living room at this hour. And of course, Grandma never takes the stairs, so she must be on the first floor. Tap, pat, tap, tap, pat, pat. Then, what are these footsteps? Whose footsteps are they? Also, those footsteps, they make a squeaky, sticky sound like they're stepping on chewing gum and they're following behind me. What are they? And then, who is this presence looming right behind me? Tap. Pat. The fear felt like it was crushing my entire body. Unable to handle the anxiety, I stopped in place with only a few steps left to go. It was right behind me, following me. It remained silent, but I still sensed it behind me, holding its faint breath. Don't turn around. It's pointless. Because there's nothing behind me. Nobody's there. Right? Hey, isn't that the case? A shiver ran down my spine. The cold sweat that ought to have run out once again oozed out and slid down my cold skin. The backs of my ears were burning hot. Then, just beside my neck, I felt the air moving away that couldn't be the wind. Pat. I definitely heard the footstep. That footstep, the presence approaching me from behind, went silent and stopped again. What can I do? What should I do? That's simple. I should just turn around. Just turn around and check. Confirm that nothing's there so I can put my mind at ease. Then it'll all be over. Then my everyday life will go back to normal. Come on, turn around. And see, with your own eyes, that it isn't there. No. What am I afraid of? There's nothing behind me. Nobody's there. Just look at it and make sure. Look, it's simple, isn't it? Just turn your head and look behind you. Then you'll feel much better. No. Go on, turn around. Don't make me say it over and over. Turn around already. Then I'll see. Come on, look quickly. Look, 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 look. No! My body leaned forward as it repelled. As a result, I missed a step, slipped, and fell. Kya. Ow! Fortunately, I wasn't too high up, and the futon I was carrying cushioned my landing, so I reached the first floor with light bumps on the knees. Then I timidly looked up toward the second floor and saw nothing there. I breathed a sigh of relief. Should have just done as the voice said then. I bitterly laughed in astonishment at my cowardice as I picked up the dropped futon, opened the sliding door leading to the living room, and stepped inside. Jesus. What is this? What is this? What on earth is this? Uh-oh. The noxious smell that accumulated in the sealed space blew through the doorway. I inhaled it all at once after screaming and vomited on the spot. Even though it was already morning, neither the lights nor the TV were on. The room was dark. Pieces of furniture and scraps of cloth or something were scattered across the room. Splashes of something gushing out echoed. And, on the floor, I saw two people, in unnatural poses with their limbs sprawled out, literally scattered about. Dad? Mom? Coming back to my senses, I ran over to one of them and touched their shoulder. Wow, it was a reverse play the game did to us. It was a dream and then it's not. I kind of like that. I respect that. This is a bad joke. Or a terrible dream. Mom and Dad are both just doing this to surprise me. They're just playing dead. So... So when I get closer and look at her face, surely Mom will. The moment her face turned toward me, I caught a glimpse of Mom's aloof eyes. But her pupils were hidden under her eyelids. What I saw were the whites of her eyes. Her blood vessels risen to the surface. Mom! I lost all strength in my knees and fell backwards. And just then, I felt something slippery and warm against my palm. I reflexively raised my hand up and held it in front of my eyes, to discover everything from my hand to elbow was stained with dark, murky red blood. No! Ah! I can't scream right now. I screamed, shouted, cried, panicked, widened my eyes, and frantically held my hand against the wall and pushed hard to lift my upper body. However, my arms gave out. I slipped and fell over onto my shoulder, right in front of Dad's face. I gasped and unleashed an enraptured scream that burned the back of my throat. Unable to speak any further, I crawled on all fours to the other side of the room and tumbled through the exit into the next room. My vision distorted and narrowed as I felt myself on the brink of fainting. And at that moment, I clearly saw Grandma sitting quietly in the corner of the room in front of the altar. She seemed to be offering prayers to Oishiro-sama's altar, seeking salvation from this blood-stained hell. Grandma! Dad is... Even though it was difficult to breathe, I wrenched my voice and called out to Grandma. But Grandma was just praying without reacting, as though she hadn't heard me. Help! Grandma, help me! Grandma is not helping. Her ass is not helping. But I believe what you've been saying. From now on, I'll pray to Oishiro-sama with all my heart. I won't talk about abandoning Hinamizawa anymore. I promise. So please, forgive me already. Please do it. Grandma. Help me. Then, as soon as I shook her shoulder, her head came loose and fell to the ground. Ew! No! That's the worst thing. Oh, God. All right, what does this mean? Is this a double dream? What's happening here? Is it because I wished for this back then? The curse came for me because I abandoned Hinamizawa and denied everything? Wrong. This is all wrong. This isn't what I wanted. I lunged out of the room in a trance, ran to the door at the entrance, and clung to the doorknob. I unlocked it, and clatter, 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 turn, 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 turn. Huh? What? Why won't it open? The door's unlocked. It's unlocked, so why won't it open? Bang, 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 bang. Open! Open up! Let me out of here! Help! Open! Open, 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 open! Even when I shouted, even when I screamed, even when I cried and begged, the door stood firm and would not let me out. And then... Pat. 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 It's coming. It's getting closer. That thing is going to catch me and drag me out of here to pull me apart and grind me into pieces like everyone else. No, I don't want to die. I didn't do anything, so why is this happening? Forgive me. I'm sorry. Someone forgive me. Pat. Someone. Someone help me, please. Is that how this ends? Does it just... Oh my... Oh my god. We might have just seen... Oh god. Natsumi. Natsumi, please. Oh, okay. Kira stood alone on the rooftop after school, when everyone had left, gazing into the distance. The light of the sun dyed the athletic field a deep red, and the cityscape was visible on the horizon. He caught a glimpse of students getting ready to go home after club activities, and heard their cheers mixed amongst the cries of the Higurashi. It was a typical, peaceful after-school scene. Perhaps the reason it looked so melancholic was only because it's how it looked in Akira's heart. Suddenly, he turned to look over his shoulder, at the bench behind him. Until last week, that was the favorite spot for the girl he liked. Not used to seeing the scenery from such a high vantage point, she would have happily looked down at him, at it from the bench from time to time while having lunch with Chisato and Tama. Akira's two childhood friends would gather around her to talk and laugh. The girl and his memories kept shifting between laughing, getting mad, and looking exasperated. Break time was always full of cheer and laughter. But she would likely never sit there again. With bitter tears on her face, Chisato had told Akira last week that what she heard from her homeroom teacher, that Natsumi would be leaving the school. The story of the tragedy at Natsumi's house spread through the entire school shortly after it occurred. At the same time, her Inamazawan heritage was revealed in the worst possible way. Due to the widespread TV coverage, the students inconsiderately began speculating and spreading senseless rumors about her, as though they'd found the story of a source of amusement and ridicule. The most damaged people, driven by their own remorse, were Akira's two childhood friends. I should have been there for... She was unable to finish saying that, but that was the first time Akira had ever seen her weep so loudly. She was usually an optimist, acting like she didn't have a care in the world, but even Akira, who knew how passionate she was and was almost convinced she was a strong girl who never cried in front of anyone, was unbelievably shocked by her show of emotion. Chisato wailed with tears as she cried, venting her emotions to Tomoko and Akira in a hoarse voice. I was supposed to be here, or there for her. And yet I put myself on guard and kept my distance just because I was scared she might be from Hinamizawa. Yeah, it's Chisato's fault. Couldn't bring myself to face her when she needed help the most. I can't do a good weeping voice. And I called myself her friend. What kind of friend doesn't lend a hand at times like these? It's not just your fault, Chisato. I didn't do anything either. Nothing. Chisato and Tomoko both continued blaming themselves and weeping. And even though Akira wasn't crying, he felt the same way. All of them had been in a position to help Natsumi. He certainly didn't know how he could have helped her, but there should have been something he could have done for her. But he didn't. Now he was left trapped in an endless loop of regret and self-loathing for what he'd failed to do.
私あの子のことが好きだった。
I loved that girl.
親友とか仲良しとかそんな簡単な言葉じゃない。
It went beyond mere friendship or companionship.
初めて会った時から夏美はあの子の生まれ変わりじゃないかって思えるくらい本当に無理二つだったんだ。
When I first met Natsumi, I couldn't believe what I saw. She was a spitting image of that girl. I almost thought she was her reincarnation. She didn't need to tell anyone. Akira could remember. That girl she spoke of referred to a lovely girl who'd always followed Chisato around with an innocent smile on her face. Of course, Chisato doted on her like mad, but the girl was young and bedridden with an illness. She fought as hard as she could to live. But before Chisato made it to middle school, the girl's short life came to a close with Chisato by her side. That's why Chisato was so...
Chisato... あんた...
Chisato, you...
分かってる分かってるさ。自己満足だって。
I know that. I know I'm being selfish.
あの子と夏美は別人だし、何のつながりもないことくらい私だって百も承知だし、おかしな話だよ。
I know that girl and Natsume are different people. I'm well aware there's no connection between them. I know it's all crazy.
でも私は力になってあげたかったんだ。
But I wanted to help her.
地方から来て知り合いも頼りもない子が私を頼ってくれたら。
She came from a small town with no friends and nobody to depend on, but she could depend on me.
それだけで私
For that alone, I...
そうだね。
Yeah.
私も私だって。
Me too. Even I... Chisato threw aside her usual persona and started crying. Tomoko couldn't say anything to her. She merely offered her a kind, supportive hug. And then, drawn in by Chisato's lamentations, her eyes grew red as she sobbed hoarsely. All Akira could do was watch over them dejectedly. Since that day, Chisato and Tomoko hadn't spoken much. Every time they saw each other's faces, it reminded them of Natsumi whether they wanted to or not. Those thoughts naturally put them at a distance. I wonder what I could have done. Suddenly, Akira asked himself a foolish question. Should he have just asked Natsumi about her heritage and distanced her from her family? Or maybe he should have stayed with her longer, all day if he needed, and protected her when danger presented itself. He tried imagining such a scenario, and mocked himself for what an unrealistic notion it was. There was no way he could have done either. Natsumi's misfortune happened right in her own home. There was very little room for an outsider like Akira to be involved. Quite the contrary. It was a presumptuous and arrogant pipe dream to even think he could have dealt with it like that. Even so, Akira clenched his jaw while scratching his hair to relieve the irritating, helpless feeling encroaching on his entire body. He truly was helpless. Anger ignited and raged like a wildfire in his chest, directed less at the god that meddled with humans' fate and more at how powerless he had been. On that day, even though he saw how abnormal Natsumi was acting, Akira just assumed she wasn't feeling well, and brought her home without asking anything else. He believed it would have been rather rude to pry about the state of a girl's body. Don't lie, Akira Todo. In reality, you were concerned that if you said something insensitive, Natsumi might reject you, right? Don't make me laugh. You were scared. You simply didn't want to give Natsumi a bad impression after you finally confessed your feelings, don't you? Didn't you? By doing nothing, you could at least avoid the risk of making a mistake. Isn't that so? In his head, someone with Akira's face laughed while saying that to him. Akira clenched his fist instinctively and trembled as his face warped into a loathsome expression, but he couldn't deny any of it. Everything his doppelganger said was right on the mark. Besides, at the time there was a sign. Despite her stupor, Natsumi had stubbornly tried to keep Akira away from her home. No, she didn't want him to see it. And Akira, remembering the rumors about her and unwilling to get deeply involved, reluctantly parted ways with her there. If instead he dragged her along to go to a park and offered friendly encouragement, if only he'd been prepared to pry her concerns out of her, even if it meant getting shunned or hated. Perhaps then he wouldn't be here all by himself, moping about how pathetic he was. Well then, Sunday's all yours. Work hard for Natsumi's sake, okay? See you, Akira-chan. Good luck with Natsumi. Both Chisato and Tomoko entrusted Natsumi to Akira. Both of them believed Akira could do it.
Kimiyoshi. Natsumi.
Natsumi. Kimiyoshi. Seeking purity and peace, the name of the one he loved emerged from the depths of his heart and came out as a gentle mutter. And the raging desire to see her again erupted from the back of his heart, leaving a rending pain in his chest. He wanted to see Natsumi, to see her again and talk. And if that came true, then he swore that he wouldn't fail her again. Not this time. Clang! Just then, Akira heard the sound of a door opening, looked back casually, and then he froze. Huh? Standing there was the person he wanted to see. Oh god, it was Natsumi. Wait. Uh-oh. This is either going to be really bad or really good.
Kimio... Natsumi.
Kimio... Natsumi. Good. You're still here, Todo-kun. After saying that, Natsumi looked down hesitantly, squeezing the knob with her fingertips. Her dainty shoulders trembled lightly. Akira ran over to her as soon as he saw that, took her hand, pulled her towards him with all his might, and hugged her.
Natsumi.
Natsumi. Once again, Akira said her first name, not Kimiyoshi. At first, he was reluctant to say it, but there was no hesitation the second time. Akira-kun? Natsumi was stunned and confused for a while. She leaned feebly against Akira. However, it was the first time Akira called her name. The feeling was pleasant and painful. She wrapped her arms around his back in acceptance, then buried her face in his chest.
Gomen.
Aww.
Natsumi.
I'm sorry, Natsumi. When he opened his mouth, an apology came out. It might be meaningless. The act of apologizing itself is arrogant. It might invoke contempt from her. Still, that was the first thing Akira thought of when it came to Natsumi. That was the strongest feeling.
Gomen.
I'm sorry. I couldn't do anything for you, Natsumi. Even though I told you I wanted to know everything about you, I stayed cautious. I was a coward. In the end, you were suffering. And I couldn't help you. I can't ask you to forgive me. But my feelings will not change. That's all I wanted to tell you. Akira-kun? Natsumi slowly shook her head, her face still buried into Akira's chest. Then she gently looked up at him head on and smiled at him. Don't apologize. It was my fault. My fault for being a coward who couldn't tell you that I liked you for a long time. My fault for being a weakling who couldn't work hard enough to earn her happiness. Natsumi, you did your best. Yet, I was a coward. How am I any different from those who gossiped about you behind your back?
もっと夏美の悩みに耳を傾けて、
I should have
もっ
listened to
と
your...
夏美の立場に立って、
I should have listened to your concerns and stood with you.
夏美を守ってやるべきだったのに。
I should have protected you. Akira could only clench his teeth in regret. As a man, he couldn't cry about it. Even so, his thoughts for Natsumi overflowed, and he held her in his arms with all his might.
ごめん、夏美。
I'm sorry, Natsumi.
もっと俺は
I should have... Silence enveloped the two of them. The sunset settling on the horizon illuminated their figures with a deep red, casting long shadows along the rooftop.
アキラくん、私のこと好き？
Akira-kun, do you like me?
大好きだ。
I love you.
誰よりも？
More than anyone else?
何よりも？
More than anything?
誰よりも何よりも夏美が
Yeah, more than anyone, more than anything.
好きだ。
I love you, Natsumi. Natsumi sighed against Akira's chest. It was very warm and strangely beguiling. Akira was unable to withstand the huge embarrassment and the pounding of his heart, so he instinctively looked away a bit from his bleary eyes. Bleary?
私が好きなら
If you love me,
何があっても私を
then you won't abandon me,
見捨てたりしない？
no matter what happens?
あ、
Yeah.
じゃあ
Well then, I have a bad feeling about this. Muttering that, Natsumi smiled. A thin, silver thread of saliva ran down her lip from the edge of her mouth. Oh, you don't describe a heartwarming scene like this. Something bad's about to happen. It almost looked like blood against the light of the setting sun. Then, that moment, the hands that had been resting on Akira's back quietly moved around his chest, climbed to his shoulders, then reached up to the back of his neck. And then...
私と一緒に
Oh, God! Oh, will you
死んで
die with me? No, I will not. I will not die with you. I will not lie with you. I will not eat you with a goat. I will not eat you with a float. I don't know. I was trying to do a Dr. Seuss rhyme. The moment she exhaled that word, Natsumi gripped Akira's Adam's apple and squeezed with all her might. Uh-oh. Natsu! Fun!
アキラくん、私のこと好きなんだよね。
Akira-kun, you love me, don't you?
そうなんだよね。
Don't you?
間違いないんだよね。
I'm right about that, aren't I? Akira faced those eyes, then shivered and began to doubt his own sanity. Natsumi was looking right up at him, her face warped with a sneer seeping with fierce, killing intent and unfathomable darkness.
夏美
Natsumi!
ね
Well?
え、もう終わりだもん。私一人ぼっちになっちゃったの。どこかに行っちゃうの。アキラくんのそばにいられなくなるの。そんなの嫌だ。
It's already over. I'll be sent somewhere all alone, unable to stay with you, and I won't have that, and I won't have that, and I won't have that.
だから一緒に死のうよ。アキラくんと一緒なら怖くないよ。だからね、いいでしょうね。
So let's die together, Akira-kun. I'm not scared as long as I'm with you, so come on, let's do it.
私のこと好きなんでしょ。そうでしょ。そうなんだよね。
You love me, don't you, right? Isn't that the case?
私今幸せなの。だからもう手放したくないの。絶対離したくないの。
I'm happy now, so I don't want my happiness to escape. I never want to let it go.
私のこと好きなんでしょうね。
You love me, don't you?
一緒に死んで。
So we'll die together, die together, die! Natsumi's eyes were wide open, and she was breathing hard. She opened her red mouth to reveal her sharp canines. Then her nails bit into Akira's neck, breaking the skin and digging into his flesh. The intense pain and lack of air was dragging his consciousness away. Despite still believing that this was an unbelievable nightmare, Kira continued desperately struggling to remove Natsumi's fingers.
私のこと好きなんでしょ。私の話を聞いてくれるんでしょ。力になってくれるんでしょ。私の幸せになってくれるんでしょ。私のこと好きなんでしょ。
You like me, don't you? You listen to me, don't you? You'll help me, won't you? You'll make me happy, won't you? You love me, don't you?
私の言うことを聞いて、私のためになって私を幸せにして。
Then do as I say and make me happy.
キラ君と死ぬのが私の願いなの。私のためなの。私の幸せなの。
I want to die together with you, so do it for my sake.
だからね、お願いお願いお願い。
So please, please, please.
お願い。
Please! Am I getting... 1 second. This was happening last night too. What happened to, I'm getting, like, Discord notifications when... Okay, let me turn something on. I must have at some point accidentally disabled streamer mode on Discord, which I generally like to run. Okay. That should have that fixed. Sorry about that. Okay, so I got pinged on Discord last night during stream, and I was like, wait, was that just a sound effect in the game? Because I was like, that can't be happening right now, and now it just happened here in like the actual notification. I don't think you guys saw it technically, but I saw it. And I'm like, oh. Okay, I think I should be fine. Let me make sure one more thing. Okay, I think we're fine. All right, please. Sorry about that distraction. Thanks to Natsumi's incredible strength, Kira was now lying face up on the floor. Her long hair started unraveling and began clicking to his face from above, clinging. Her eyes opened without the slightest trace of sanity as she refused to let him go. She strangled him with tremendous strength. No matter how hard he braced his legs, Kira couldn't even verbalize a groan. He gasped with a look of agony on his face. And reflected in the pleading look in his eyes when he looked up was the eerily beautiful yet demonic face of the girl he wanted to know everything about, smirking menacingly as though jeering at his desire.
アキラ君が好きだなんて言うから。
Akira-kun, Akira-kun, you said you loved me.
好きだなんて。
You love me. Natsumi struggled to mutter that with tears in her eyes. She tightly clenched her jaw, causing fresh blood to overflow from the edge of her mouth, leaving a number of stains on Akira's cheeks. Dull black blood fell onto his face. I am a demon, and yet you love me. Damn, she's going hard. Could that really be Natsumi? Was that the true form of the Natsumi Kimiyoshi he wanted so desperately to see again? Again! Yeah! Akira called back his fading consciousness while mustering all his remaining strength to push Natsumi away. The moment a gap between Natsumi and himself opened, he immediately headed toward the rooftop entrance. However, Natsumi was clasping his ankle with ferocious strength. Oh man. Nuts. Oh shit. Voice modulation. She's demonizing. Jesus, this is going hardcore. Where are you going, Akira-kun? Giggling in an odd voice, Natsumi staggered to her feet. Where are you going? Akira-kun? Actual monster. Now this has got to be a nightmare for him, right? This has got to be a nightmare Akira is having. This can't be real, right? Running away. Playing tag. The wind kicked up and made a loud noise. Natsumi's hair began to stand on one side. Each strand reached out like tentacles searching for prey. Natsumi. Overwhelmed by her deranged laughter, Kira lost strength in his legs and fell to the ground. Natsumi slowly walked up while looking down at him arrogantly, then straddled him. She reflected on her laughter as she reached for Akira's throat. Akira-kun. I've caught you. Her nails audibly dug into his throat. Kira's eyes went bloodshot as Natsumi moved her face closer and closer as if trying to pierce his chest. What was that? That horrible, distorted face. Goosebumps erupted from Akira's back. His blood vessels seemed to freeze over as a chill ran all through his body. I see. I see now. Seeing Akira trembling with fear and disgust, Natsumi muttered in a voice that sounded like she had slightly regained her sanity. But what came out next was a calm yet blood-curdling voice. You already hate me, don't you? Has everyone abandoned me and ran away? Aki, you're abandoning me too. Why? Stop this already. So sad. Why does everyone abandon me? I just wanted to be happy. Because I'm a demon? Because I'm a demon? A demon? Dark-sided? Natsumi groaned as if she was possessed. However, Kira's mind was ensnared as he couldn't move. His feelings for Natsumi, the terror in front of him, determination, madness, the demon in front of him, his erratic jumble of emotions threatened to burst from his very blood vessels. Natsumi, let's stop this already. Natsumi's eyes narrowed. She then placed her hands on his Adam's apple and she shivered with rage and terror. As I thought. You lied to me when you said you loved me. You were lying. Everyone hates me. Everyone hates me. Hates, absolutely hates me. Natsumi crouched down on the spot as her deafening screams roared. I am? Oh my god. A demon. The last demon. Demon! I definitely heard some like "Bleh" in there. Demon. Natsumi scratched at her throat with her long fingernails. Jesus. Terrifying. Natsumi cried out in a booming voice that filled the air. Blood splattered from her torn neck. Her nails broke through to her throat and dug into the cross-section of broken skin. Natsumi moaned as she coughed up blood, then lost her balance on the crimson pool pouring at her feet. When Akira finally came back to his senses, the entire air was dyed bright red with blood. Bright red blood dripped down all over Akira's body. He was an empty shell, completely devoid of any remaining sensations and emotions. But even so, shock from his total denial of the tragedy that unfolded right before him left him unable to blink. Look closely, Akira. You wanted to know everything about Natsumi? Well, you got your wish. Now that you know everything, can you still say you love her? Bright red tears of blood poured from Natsumi's eyes like waterfalls. Terrible. She was screaming her death throes. Blood gushed out of her as she spewed even more blood with her screams. The more violently she writhed, the more merciless and deeper her nails dug into her neck. They chiseled away at the inflamed chunks of red meat emerging from the gaping gash on her neck. Fresh blood and muddy bodily fluids erupted from Natsumi's body and gushed out as far as the eye could see. Akira could only stand there, unable to move. His hands, grabbing at Natsumi's arms, floated along with his shadow and eventually separated from her. Then, for only a moment, he saw Natsumi don a gentle smile. That was right. Akira abandoned Natsumi in his heart the moment she suddenly changed, and he fled from her. Just as he was able to see all of Natsumi, Natsumi too was able to see the truth of his thoughts. He wondered if Natsumi expected things to end this way. From the moment she cried that she loved him. Akira-kun, this is your fault. When she uttered those words, the bond between the two of them was forever torn.
Natsumi. 大丈夫。大丈夫だよ。
Natsumi, it's alright. It's alright. Akira gently hugged Natsumi's lifeless body.
大丈夫。これは夢だよ。夢なんだよ。
It's alright. This is a dream. It's a dream. He continued muttering those words in an attempt to convince himself, even though he was painfully aware the one he most wanted to answer him would never speak again. Little by little, the warmth faded from Natsumi's delicate body. Never wanting to let her go, Akira tightly embraced Natsumi, covered in blood. Natsumi. He wanted to fall asleep, together with Natsumi, in a dream. Akira continued to wish, only for that, as his consciousness faded away.
南社より書き打ち PSA
Manai car to Kakiji PS.
こちら一課次長南
This is 1st Division Assistant Director Manai.
先日の君吉一家惨殺事件の生存者君吉夏美の高校に到着
Arrived at the high school of Natsumi Kimiyoshi, survivor of the Kimiyoshi family massacre incident the other day.
捜索中の本人を校舎内屋上の一角にて発見
Discovered the person in question in a corner of the rooftop of the school building.
君吉夏美は到着時すでに死亡
Natsumi Kimiyoshi was dead on arrival.
死因は失血死
Cause of death was excessive blood loss.
第一発見者は同級生の男子生徒で軽傷を負っている模様
The first to discover the body was a male classmate, showing signs of minor injuries.
応急手当ての後任意にて事情聴取を行いましたが心身に衰弱が見られるため現場判断にて聴取を中止
After administering first aid, he voluntarily submitted to questioning, but but we made the decision on site to cease questioning upon witnessing the debilitation in his mind and body.
引き続き現場検証を行います。
On-site investigation will continue.
どうぞ。
Over.
竹内 PS より見ない警部へ
Kakuchi PS to Inspector Minai.
了解しました
Understood.
引き続き捜査に当たってください
Please continue your investigation.
どうぞ
Over.
了解。
Roger.
更新終わります。
Over now. Damn it! Unable to control my anger, I punched the hood of the car. I could see my fist gushing with blood, but the pain of that wound was nothing compared to the pain in my heart.
リーナイさん
Minai-san. Again I failed to protect them. I swore this would be the end. I swore this would be the end of the tragedy in Hinamizawa. Wait. Maybe I'm reading way too much into it, but she's saying I failed to again I failed to protect them. Is she just mentioning it earlier, obviously the Hinamizawa incident, or is she? Maybe I'm reading way too much into it, but does she have the ability to keep going back in time to try to fix things and reset timelines and all? Possibility. Probably not, but possibility. I swore this would be the end. I swore this would be the end of the tragedy in Hinamizawa. What was all that crap you said about hating to break promises? What nerve you have, Tomoe Minai. What good does having the power of the state do when I can't save the life of an innocent civilian? And such a young girl at that.
何なのよ。
What the hell?
何なのよ一体。
The hell is all this?
これもお社様のたたりとでも言うっての。
Are you saying this is this is also the work of Oishiro-sama's curse?
おいさん。
Oishi-san? And so, I directed a question toward the old detective who was no longer in this world. The more I investigate, the more I'm driven into this labyrinth, this chain of nightmares. The closer I get, the more the door of truth shuts. In the face of such baffling mystery, what can I do by challenging it alone? And yet, I can only say this. No, I have to say it. The curse of Hinamizawa is not over yet. The great disaster didn't mark the end of everything, and I'm sure it will continue for a long time. This tragedy will repeat over and over again in some other city, until the day the name Hinamizawa withers and fades from people's memories for all time. Ah, that's it. It won't end like this. No, I won't let it end like this. I swear I'll blow the lid on this ruthless, tragic nightmare of an incident, even if it costs me my life.
終わらせたりするものか。
Like hell I'll let it end.
私は忘れない。
I won't forget.
絶対。
Never! July 1983. A complete blockade of Hinamizawa village was established, as of a few days after the incident. Ah! Oh man! No, all the characters. Signs of volcanic gas reemergence was detected. Yeah. Matt. I know at the very least we have to read the police file epilogue thing. But I don't know if this is it for Someutsushi. There might be another little thing after. We shall see. Boom, ba-dum, boom, ba-dum, boom, ba-dum, boom, ba-dum, boom, ba-dum, boom. Gah. Good music. Oh, an all-cast review session. Would you look at that? We haven't had one of those in a while. That's crazy. Kind-hearted older sister. Okay.
あ、ミナイさん、
Minai-san.
どうしました？
Is something wrong?
藤田さん、
Fujita-san.
みないさんだとお姉ちゃんと一緒でややこしいでしょ。
Don't you think the name Minai-san is confusing when my sister and I are together?
私はまどかでいいですよ。
You're welcome to call me Madoka. Madoka, you know?
了解しました。まどかさん、
Alright, Madoka-san. Fujita-san made a bitter smile after correcting himself with a look of embarrassment on his face. I wouldn't have minded at all if he'd used Chan instead, but this was just the kind of guy he was. I felt significantly more eyes around the office staring daggers at me and talking behind my back since I announced my engagement to Kaoru-san, maybe even the majority of them. However, this man falls in the minority on that. There's no guarantee, but I'm confident of that.
お姉ちゃんじゃなかった。見ない警部はいますか？
Is this... No, I mean, is Chief Inspector Minai here?
ミナイさんですか？
Minai-san?
今外回りに出ています。
She's out right now.
ちょっと一人になりたいって言ってましたから、帰りは。
She said she wanted to be alone for a while, so she left.
そうですか。
Is that so? After hearing that, I've looked over at the empty assistant director's seat. Seems to have gotten more desolate since I heard about the incident.
藤田さんにもいろいろお世話になったみたいですね。
Fujita-san, it sounds like you've been helping out a lot lately.
ありがとうございます。
Thanks for everything.
いえ、自分は別に。
No, I haven't done much.
むしろミナイさんの方が。
Really, Minai-san is the one. When Sis came back from the crime scene yesterday evening, I could tell even without knowing the circumstances myself. She was worn to the bone.
お姉ちゃん、どう
Sis?
す
Why? When I called out to her in the hallway, Sis gently tapped me on the shoulder and smiled, then headed for the First Investigation Division's floor without a single word. Normally, she'd say don't call me Sis at work in a deliberately formal tone, but now...
亡くなられた娘さんってお姉ちゃんと親しかったんですか？
The girl who passed away, was it someone Sis was close to?
それほどってわけじゃないんですが、
Not especially.
いろいろ情報を提供してもらったりして、何度か顔を合わせていましたからね。
She was someone who provided us with information, and they met face to face a few times.
まして、最後はあんな死に方じゃ、やりきれないですよ。
If anything, it's the circumstances of her death that your sister couldn't take.
どこかで気づいて、最悪の事態も防げたんじゃないかってね。
She's wondering if she could have prevented this tragedy if she'd noticed it sooner. I understood. Sis was that kind of person. She tried to stay dedicated to her job, wishing she were omnipotent, despite being well aware no one was. And when she fails at her job, she harshly blames herself and falls into deep depression. Detectives are not gods, so it's likely nobody will blame Sis, but she just can't set aside her feelings. She's really awkward that way.
藤田さん、
Fujita-san?
私時々思うんです。
I thought something from time to time.
お姉ちゃんって本当は刑事に向いてないんじゃないかって。
That in all honesty, Sis might not be able to handle being a detective.
まどかさん？
Madoka-san.
今この駆け打ち所の管轄内だけでどれくらいの人が死んでると思います？
Right now, how many people do you think are dying within the Kakiuchi Station jurisdiction area alone?
どれだけの人が犯罪をしでかしているか知っていますか？
Do you have any idea how many people are currently committing crimes?
10や20、それこそ100でも収まらないくらいたくさんの人が悲しんで苦しんで死ん
10?
でいます。
10? 20? Maybe even 100 people are grieving, suffering, and dying.
その一つ一つに同情したり後悔なんてしていたら心が持ちませんよ。
If you feel sympathy or regret for every last one of them, your heart won't last.
それに警察だって人間だから万能じゃないんです。
Plus, the police are human beings. They're not omnipotent.
間違いだってあるしできないこともある。
Even they make mistakes, and there are things they can't do.
それなのにお姉ちゃんはいつもみんなに応えようと頑張ってあちこちに動き回って。
Even so, Sis always put in so much work to respond to everyone, always moving here and there.
その分ボロボロになって傷ついてる。
Exhausting herself and enduring the pain.
もっと割り切ってやらなきゃ本当に壊れちゃうのに。
Even though she'll completely break, unless she can better set aside her feelings.
まどかさん。
Madoka-san. Since she was young, she's had a stronger sense of justice than anyone around her. I think it's due to the influence of our deceased father. He was like that, and she was the one who most closely watched over him. I looked up to our sincere and compassionate parents, too. But I grew to reject that after years of seeing how that philosophy always resulted in the two of us drawing the short end of the stick. Besides, I have watched her get depressed and sad whenever she fails from up close all this time. That's why, whenever I see her in pain about it, I get the urge to complain to our parents for making her suffer by drilling the wrong mindset into her.
お姉ちゃんは気が優しすぎるんです。
Sis is too kind.
口とかはきついのに相手のことを余計に考えちゃって。
Even though she acts tough, she's always thinking of others.
せっかく必死に頑張って試験に合格してエリートの道に進む資格を手に入れたのに
She's worked hard to
無駄遣いし
pass.
ちゃってる気がします。
She's worked hard to pass the exams and earn the qualifications to walk the path of elites, but it all seems like a waste.
偉い刑事さんになったんだからもっと仕事を割り切って考えてできる範囲内で犯罪者を取り締まっていけば勝手に出世できるのにな。
She's become a great detective, so she'd be on the road to success if she could only set aside her feelings and crack down on criminals where she can, not overstretching herself.
ずいぶんな言われようですね。
That's quite the thing to say.
それじゃあ俺たち警察は自分の出世のことだけを考えて犯人を捕まえていけばいいんですか？
So you're saying we police officers should only arrest criminals to further our own personal career interests?
加害者の事情とか被害者の悲哀なんて考慮する必要はないんですか？
You're saying that taking the circumstances of the perpetrators and the grief of the victims into account is unnecessary?
ごめんなさい。
I'm sorry.
そういうつもりじゃ。
I didn't mean it like that.
いや、分かっています。分かるつもりです。
No, I understand. I know what you mean. Fujisan played it off facetiously. It's that word that I'm like, every time I try to get it out of my mouth, it like garbles up. And smiled. I don't know how to read. Don't worry about it. And then he spoke while gazing off into the distance with a gentle expression.
確かに、ミナイさんはあんまり賢くないです。
Indeed, Minai-san is not very astute.
本当に賢かったら、準キャリア組なのに、こんな偏僻な場所に飛ばされて、それでも一生懸命に働くなんてこと、絶対にできないと思いますからね。
If she was smart, she never would have considered working her hardest by having been sent to this remote location with a ranking as high as hers.
ですけど、内緒にしててくださいよ。
But, please keep that a secret, okay?
知ったらきっと怒ると思うから。
I'm sure it would only upset her.
ああいう性格の人だから、俺たちも忌憚なくボスと仰いで頼りにできるんですよ。
It's because of that personality of hers that we look up to her as a reliable boss.
確かにちょっと危なっかしいけど、真面目で、一途で。
She may indeed be a little too reckless for her own good, but she's serious and earnest.
ミナイさんの正義感は本当、見ていてすがすがしいですから。
Seeing her sense of justice is refreshing.
逆に俺は、ああいう人こそ早く偉くなってトップに立ってもらいたいと思いますけどね。
On the contrary, I want to rise up to the top as soon as I can. That's just the kind of person I am.
藤田さん。
Fujita-san.
それに、
Besides.
それに
Besides what?
いや、やっぱりまどかさんはミナイさんの妹なんだなって。
No, just Thinking about how you two really are sisters.
そういう風に相手のことを考えてあれこれ悩むところなんてそっくりですよ。
The way you consider and worry about others like you did just now is exactly like her.
似ていませんよ。
We are nothing alike.
私はあの人みたいに戦わずに
I didn't fight like her.
逃げちゃったから。
I ran away.
今さら追いつけないし、そんな気もないです。
At this point, it's impossible for me to catch up to her, and I don't intend to either. That's why my heart aches. Yeah, I thought I misread that for a second. Sis really put in a lot of effort and worked hard until now, and she gained the qualifications she needed to be happy. So nobody can complain to her about her lack of rest in body and mind. She won't let them. But she's still operating at full speed, diving headfirst into all sorts of difficulties and hardships.
似てほしくない。
I don't want to be like her.
お姉ちゃんはお父さんのようになってほしくない。
I don't want Sis to end up like our father.
努力の数だけ頑張った人が損をするのは絶対間違ってます。
People who work hard having nothing to show for it, it can't possibly be right. Kaoru-san must have thought he was doing me a favor by transferring her to Kakuchi Station, but it seems that plan backfired and only made me feel worse. All cast review now. Let's go. Let's get lighthearted.
アドバンスドストーリー染め写しをプレイされた皆さん、お疲れ様でした。
Thank you everyone for your hard work reading this Higurashi When They Cry Sui chapter Someutsushi.
新キャラクターのみで構成されたこのお話はいかがでしたか？
What did you think of the story, composed entirely of new characters?
これはコミック版日暮らしの泣く頃にシリーズの外伝で人気を博した一つ、鬼さらし編をベースに組み上げられたエピソードになります。
This chapter was based on a popular arc, Onisarashi Hen, from the Higurashi When They Cry manga.
本編とはまた違う面白さをちょっとでも楽しんでもらえましたらとっても嬉しいです。
It's a little different from the main series, but it would make me very happy if you enjoyed it.
ちょっと
Hey, hold on!
楽しむどころか主人公の夏美まで死んじゃう最悪のバッドエンドじゃん。
Enjoy it? Our hero Natsumi died in the worst possible bad ending.
これで何を愉快に思えって言うのさ。
What is there to enjoy about that, huh?
しかもタマコ、なんであんたが進行役やってんだ。
And furthermore, Tamako, who made you the discussion facilitator here?
そんなの知らないわよ。
I don't really understand that myself.
私はコンシューマー版の監督から任命されただけなんだからさ。
I was just appointed by the director of the console version.
まあおそらく夏美に任せると推しが弱くてまともに進まないし、千里だと内容そのものをぶち壊しにしかねないから消去法で選ばれたんでしょ。
Well, Natsumi probably would have been too meek to push the proceedings forward, and Chisato would probably tear the content apart, so I guess I was chosen by process of elimination.
アキラちゃんも口下手だから進行向きじゃないしね。
Also, Akira is a very good speaker, so he probably couldn't direct the conversation either.
悪かったな。
Well, excuse me.
誰がクラッシャーだ。
Who are you calling Crusher?
ほら夏美、あんたも何か言い返しなさい。
Hey, Natsumi, say something in your defense.
仮にもこのお話の主人公でしょ。
Aren't you supposed to be the main character of the story?
そんなの私に言わないでよ。
You don't have to say that about me.
私だって今回やっと隠れキャラ扱いからヒロイン昇格って喜んでたのに、危うくアキラくんを殺しかけるわ。最後はおかしくなって死んじゃうわで、今もズズーンって落ち込んでるんだから。
Even though I was pleased that I was finally promoted from minor character to heroine status, I nearly killed Akira-kun, and then I went insane and died, so I feel depressed about it even now.
そういえば夏美は本編にも何度か登場してたんだっけ。
Oh, by the way, Natsumi has several cameos in the main series.
で、念願のメイン昇格がこんなお話じゃ確かに納得はできないわよね。
So your dream to get promoted came true, only to result in this kind of story. Indeed, I can see why that wouldn't sit well with you.
つうかさ、噂では聞いていたんだけど、日暮らしの世界のお話って本当にひどい結末ばっかりなんだね。
I've heard rumors that the story of Higurashi is just one tragic ending after another.
あんまりな終わり方に、ちーちゃん思わず声も出なかったよ。
And that extreme ending left me speechless.
あ、そうなの。
Oh, is that so?
じゃあいっそのこと、あんたは今後一切永遠に黙っていなさい。
Then while you're at it, why not keep that silence forever?
そうすれば世界は平和で、暮らすにはとても快適だ。
That way we can continue living comfortably in a peaceful world.
私の吐く言葉は汚染物質か。
You're treating the words I spit out like a pollutant.
高化学スモッグとでも言いたいのか。
Or like some kind of photochemical smog.
はあ、まったく。
Alright.
千里もタマもそのくらいにしとけよ。
Chisato, Tama, that's enough.
あんたに意見なんて求めてないっての、この究極ヘタレ。
I didn't ask for your opinion, you wuss.
夏美を救えなかったくせにいい気シャーシャーと出てくるなんていい度胸してるじゃないの。
Got a lot of nerve after failing to save Natsumi. Rude.
やめてよ千里ち
Hold on, stop that, Chisato-chan.
ゃん。あきらくんは辛い目にあって傷ついてるんだから、もう少し気を使ってあげて。
Akira-kun had a rough time, so shouldn't you show him a little more consideration?
いや、一番ひどい目にあったのはあんただろ、夏美。
No, Natsumi. You were the one who had the hardest time.
まあ、アキラちゃんはかろうじて助かったみたいだけど、目の前で好きだった女の子がおかしくなって死ぬところを一部始終しっかりと見てしまったからね。
Well, Kira-chan just barely managed to survive and had to watch the girl he loves go crazy and die right before his eyes.
多分普通の人なら一生のトラウマものだよ。
For an ordinary person, that would probably scar you for life.
いや、まったく。私だったら3ヶ月は夢にうなされるね。
Well, that's true. If I were in his shoes, I would haunt my dreams for the next 3 months.
あと、肉料理は金輪際パスして、一生ベジタリアンへの道を突き進むだろうな。
And I'd have to give up on eating meat. Probably end up a vegetarian the rest of my life.
特に鶏肉のフリカッセなんて見た日にゃ。
Even if I saw a chicken fricassee.
お前らな。
You guys.
かわいそうとは言わなくてもいいから、せめていたわりの言葉一つあってもいいと思うんだがな。
Can I get a little sympathy here? You don't have to go all out, but still.
いたわり？
Sympathy?
うん、わかった。
Yeah, sure.
そんじゃ、辛いの飛んでけー。
Alright then. Dun 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 dun.
そりゃいたわりじゃねえ、いたぶりだ。
That's a good joke. Sympathy, not symphony.
あら、一文字違うだけでえらい違い。
Wow, those two syllables make a huge difference.
何かのネタにしておこう。メモ。
I'll have to write that one down in my joke book.
話を聞け、ちさ。
Listen to me, Chisa.
まあ落ち着いて。
Oh my, let's calm down.
千里ちゃんは黙っていれば美人なんだから、もう少したまこちゃんの言う通り、言葉控えめに振る舞った方が人気出ると思うんだけど。
Chisato-chan, you're a beautiful lady when you stay silent, but I think you'd be more popular if you behaved in a more discreet way, like Tamako-chan tells you to.
おい夏美、
Hey, Natsumi.
それって黙ってない私は美人じゃないって言ってるようにも聞こえるんだが。
Are you telling me I'm not beautiful when I'm speaking?
そんなことないよ。
That's not what I meant.
千里ちゃん悪く考えすぎだって。
Chisato-chan, you're looking at this too negatively.
まったく失礼しちゃうわね。
That's such a rude thing to say.
この院長の娘の美少女に向かってなんて言い草だ。
How could you say that about this beautiful young lady, daughter of the hospital director?
美少女って。
A beautiful young lady.
美少女、それは美の少ない女と書く。
Beautiful young lady. I'd write you down as a lady of minimal beauty.
確かにあんたにはぴったりのキャッチコピーだね。
Surely that's the perfect catchphrase for you.
どうタマさんよ。
Whoa, Tama-san.
なんかさっきからものすごく挑戦的なんだけど、
That was uncalled for.
私になんか恨みでもあるのか？
Do you have some kind of grudge against me?
アキラくん、
Akira-kun?
千里ちゃんとたまこちゃんって昔からこうだったの？
Have Chisato-chan and Tamako-chan always been like this?
ああ、
Yeah.
昔はもうちょっとひどかったかな。
Though in the past they were a bit more horrible?
なんだと？
What?
おっと、
A what?
それにしてもお社様のたたりがあってひなみ沢で大災害が起きたってことはまだ理解できたとしてもさ。
At any rate, I get the stuff about Oishiro-sama's curse and that a great disaster struck Hinamizawa.
村から離れた私たちの町に住んでるひなみ沢の人たちまでもが惨劇を立て続けに起こすなんて一体どうなってんだよ。
But what's the deal with the series of tragedies striking the people from Hinamizawa one by one, even though they're living in our city far away from the village?
これじゃあ私たちだってひなみ沢やその出身の人のことを色眼鏡で見ちゃうっての。
Well, even we look at Hinamizawa and its people through colored glasses.
確かにひなみ沢出身の人は気候が目立つなんて言ってたけど、
Yeah, I know we talked about how people from Hinamizawa stand out with their eccentric behavior.
でもそれって信心深いお年寄りにその傾向が見られるだけで他の人たちはそうでもないんだよね。
But that behavior only seems to come out in the strongly religious elders, not as much in the rest of the population.
例えば夏美とか、夏美のお母さんは全くお社様のことを信じていない。
For example, Natsumi and her mother don't believe in Oishiro-sama at all.
しかも異常な行動をしているわけでもない。
Plus, they weren't acting abnormally.
なのに二人がたたりに巻き込まれるなんて納得がいかないし理不尽だよね。
Nevertheless, two of them got caught up in the curse, so doesn't that seem unreasonable?
新人が足りなかったから逆に罰が当たったってことなのかな。
On the other hand, I wonder if they were being punished for not believing.
ああ、だとしたら畠山のおじいさんや夏美のおばあさんが死ぬはずがないしな。
Oh, but in that case, old man Hatakeyama and Natsumi's grandmother shouldn't have died.
じゃあ一体たたりってどんな人を襲うんだ？
And what kind of people is this curse targeting?
まさか無差別ってことも。
Indeed, the curse doesn't discriminate.
だとしたら犯人は人間じゃなくってまさしくたたりってことになっちゃうけどね。
If that's the case, the culprit is not human but simply a curse, I suppose.
超常現象によるものだからトリックも何もなし。
If it's due to supernatural phenomena, there's no trick or anything.
でもそれで本当に解決ってことでいいんだろうか。
But is it really okay for that to be the solution?
そうだね。
Right.
でも今回の構成を作った監督のお話だと、今回の染め写しはあえて鬼さらしという本来のタイトルを使わなかったことにトリックがあるって言ってたけど。
But the director of this art claims that there's a trick to the title Someutsushi that was not in the original Onisarashi title, right, though.
なんじゃそりゃ。
What's that?
染め写しに使用されている漢字は染めと伝だよね。
The kanji used in the title Someutsushi are the characters for a dye or a stain and the act of passing along.
で、これを逆さまにつなげ合わせると伝染。
But when you write those characters backwards, you get that, which means infection. Huh.
じゃあたたりってのはこのまま伝染していくっての？
Then does that mean the curse is contagious?
おいおい、冗談じゃないっての。
Hey, hey, this is no joke.
こんな惨劇がずっと続いたりなんてしたらさすがに精神が持たないよ。
If a tragedy like this continued to spread for a long time, I don't think my heart could take it.
たたりなんてないですよ。
There's no such thing as a curse.
あってたまるもんですか？
No way it'd be real.
みないさん、こんにちは。
Ah, Minai-san, good afternoon.
こんにちは皆さん。
Good afternoon, everyone.
遅くなってすみませんね。
Sorry for arriving late.
とりあえず今回のメンツはこれで全部？
Anyway, is everyone here now?
ひふみ。意外と少人数なんだね。
1, 2, 3. It's a surprisingly small number of people.
これから話が続けばいずれ増えてくると思いますよ。
I think that number will increase as the story continues from here.
私の部下の藤田くんに妹のまどか、
There's my subordinate, Fujita-kun, and my sister Madoka.
それに肝心要のあの人たちがいよいよ次回から参加する予定だって聞いていますからね。
Besides, I heard those people are finally going to participate next time.
あの人たち？
Those people?
あ、それってミナイさんの尊敬するあの二人の刑事さんのことですね。
You mean those two detectives you look up to, Minai-san?
確かにあの人たちが加わればもっとタタリについて詳しいお話が聞けるかも。
I'm sure we'll be able to learn more about the curse if they join in.
そうそう。
Right.
今回は全て後手後手に回っちゃって申し訳なかったけど、次からはそうはいきませんからね。
I'm sorry that I always arrived too late this time, but I'll do better next time, okay?
警察官の保険にかけても犯人を捕まえてみせますから期待していてくださいよ。
I swear on the honor of the police department that I will catch the culprit.
おお、頼もしい言葉。
Oh, you sound so reliable.
ほらアキラ、あんたもこれくらい堂々と言える解消を持ちなさいよ。
Hey, Akira, make yourself as dependable as her.
悪かったな。
Well, excuse me.
俺だって次は
Second time he's
ちゃ
gets
ん
to
と
say
行
that.
動してみせるさ。
I'll do better next time as well.
言ったからには責任持ちなさいよ、ジミ
Now that you've said it, you gotta take responsibility. You hear?
ー。これで同じことの繰り返しだったら、ちーちゃんのいびりはこの程度じゃ済まないよ。
Chi-chan won't be satisfied, just teasing you if the same thing happens again, okay?
一応手加減してたのか、これでも。
Wait, this is your idea of going easy on him?
おお、任せとけ。
Yeah, leave it to me.
今度こそ俺は何もしないままで終わったりしない。
I won't sit by and do nothing this time.
頑張ってね、アキラくん。
Yeah, good luck, Akira-kun.
私も絶対幸せを手に入れるために
I'll actually kill you this
精一杯努力して
time.
みせるよ。
And I'll do my best too to earn her happiness.
若い二人が愛する相手を思う美しき姿。
Yep, the young couple each thinking of the person they love. Thinking of the person they love. What a beautiful sight.
良きかな、良きかな。
This is good. Good.
なんか見てると腹立ってくるんですけど、
I get angry just watching it though.
独り身の私に対する当てつけかよ。
Kind of
なん
feels
て感じで。
it kind of feels like it's spitting me for being single.
あれ、そういえばミナイさん、
Oh, by the way, Minai-san.
監督から渡された私の手持ちの資料だと他にもう一人いるみたいなんですが。
I received some handwritten notes from the director and it looks like there's some other person.
そうなの？
Huh? Is that so?
どれどれ？あ、ほんとだ。
Let's see. Oh, it's true.
この人って？
Who is this person?
いいの、そいつのことは忘れて。
It's fine, just forget about him.
今すぐ
Right now.
速やかに
Immediately.
さあ、きれいさっぱり抹消して。
Jesus, purge it from your minds.
は
What?
知らない。
I don't know.
私は何も知らない。
I don't know anything.
知りたくもない。
I don't want to know.
後にも先にもそんな奴はいない。
There was no such guy involved in my life, and he never will be.
この世に存在しないんだ。
He doesn't exist in this world. Scream.
どうしたんですか、ミナイさん。
What's wrong, Minai-san?
いつものクールさが粉々に吹っ飛んでますよ。
You've thrown off your usual cool persona, you know?
なんか変なトラウマスイッチが入っちゃったみたいだね。
Seems like that triggered some weird trauma switch.
なあ、友。ミナイさんがそこまで嫌うその人ってのは
Hey,
誰なんだ？
Hey, Tama, this person Minai-san hates so much. Do you know who it is?
所長さんだね。
The chief of police?
ミナイさんの勤める書き打ち書の。
Minai-san's boss at Kakuchi Station.
まだ続きがある。
Hmm? There's more.
何みないさんの妹の
There's something about Minai-san's sister.
婚約者？
It says she's his fiance? No!
ねえ、確か柿内署の署長さんって結構年配の人だって聞いたけど、
Hey,
やっぱ50歳くらい？
hey, I heard that the chief of Kakuchi Station is really old. Probably around 50?
57歳です。
He's 57 years old.
で、所長さんは妹さんの婚約者だから、二人が結婚すればみないさんはお姉さんになるんだね。
So, since the chief is your sister's fiance, if the two of them get married, then you'd become the chief's sister-in-law, right?
冗談じゃないわよ。
This isn't something to joke about.
何が悲しくてそんなおっさんに姉呼ばわりされなきゃいけないのよ。
It'd be incredibly depressing to have such an old man referring to me as his sister.
私独身なのよ。まだ花も羨む20代なんだから。
I'm still single. I'm a beautiful flower still in my 20s.
ああ、でもあと1年で30。
Oh, but you'll be turning 30 next year.
それ以上言ったら警官侮辱罪で銃殺刑にするわよ。
If you say anything more, I'll charge you with slandering a police officer and have you sent to the firing squad. Corrupt cop. ACAB includes Manai. Is that really a crime?
これから作るの。
I'll make it one from now on.
いっぱい偉くなって警察官僚になったら私をおばさん呼ばわりしたやつはみんな死刑にしてやるから。
Better yet, if I become a police bureaucrat, I can make it so anyone who calls me an old lady will receive the death penalty.
それから20歳以上も離れたカップルの結婚は法律作って禁止にしてやる。
And then I'll make laws that prohibit marriage for couples over 20 years apart.
絶対禁止よ。
Absolutely forbidden. Wah.
あらら、泣いちゃった。
Oh, she's crying.
にしても気の長い話だね。
But still, you'll have to be rather patient, won't you?
その警察官僚になるのに順調にいっても一体何十年かかるのやら。
Even if things go smoothly, becoming a police bureaucrat will take decades.
みないさんって意外に考え方がものすっごく幼稚でバカっぽいんですね。
Minai-san has a surprisingly naive and childish way of thinking, huh?
本当にキャリアの方なんですか？
Is she really a career-oriented woman?
なあチサ、
Hey, Chisa.
あれも解消って言うのかな。
Still think you can call that dependable, as you put it?
まあまあその辺で。
Well, let's just leave it at that.
とりあえずそろそろ始めちゃおうよ。
Anyway, let's get started.
これから日暮のアドバンスストーリーを一緒に進めていく仲間としての最初の親睦ってことで。
This will be our first bonding session as the cast of the Higurashi Advanced Story series, won't it?
はいはい、それもそうね。
Yeah, you got a point.
それじゃあみんなに飲み物配るね。
Well then, I'll pass out drinks for everyone.
私たちは学生だからジュースで。
Since we're all just students, it'll be juice for us.
みないさんはビールですか？
Minai-san, would you like a beer?
私もジュースでお願いします。
Oh, I'm fine with juice, thanks.
お酒って私焼け酒しか飲んだことないんですよね。
I only drink alcohol when I need to drown my sorrows.
さらっと場が暗くなること言うな。
Don't bring down the mood, please.
みんなコップは行き渡った？
Does everyone have a glass?
それじゃ私が温度を取るね。
Alright then, I'll take the lead.
では染め写し終了。お疲れ様でした。
Well, with Someutsushi complete, thanks everyone for your hard work. Cheers.
お疲れ様でした。
Thanks everyone. Clap, clap, clap.
まあとりあえず簡単に今回のシナリオを振り返ってみたいんだけど、
Well, I'd like to briefly look back on the scenario now.
さっきのみないさんが言ってたたたりなんてないって発言、
Minai-san told us a little while ago that there's no such thing as a curse.
あれってどういうことですか？
Could you explain what you meant by that?
ですね。
Well, you see.
実は私もともとオカルト的なものってあまり信じない方なんですが、今回の一連は特に自信を持ってたたりってのは何かのトリックだと思っています。
Actually, I didn't really believe in supernatural phenomena to begin with, but the incidents of this case in particular have given me confidence that there must be some trick to the curse.
へえ、
Oh?
その根拠は何ですか？
What is your basis for that?
皆さんはご存じないと思いますが、山中で発見された女性の焼殺事件。
I guess you all don't know about the case of the woman's burned body found in the mountains.
これがたたりによる殺人あるいは自殺だと判明した時点で、私の中では超常的な存在の可能性が全くゼロになりました。
By the time it was revealed that it was a murder by the curse or possibly by suicide, the chances of a supernatural agent being involved went to 0 for me. Huh?
それってどういうことですか？
What do you mean by that?
これは犯罪心理学の話になるんですが、
It's something I've learned while studying criminal psychology.
殺人手段に火を用いるあるいは死に方に火を選ぶというのは極めて文明的な人間ならではの方法なんです。
Choosing fire for murder, or choosing to die by fire is an extremely civilized method, unique to humans.
人間ならでは？
Unique to humans.
例えば地球上に存在する生き物で火を道具にするのは人間だけ。
For example, human beings are the only creatures on Earth that use fire as a tool.
それほどに火というものは扱いが難しく、また本能的に恐怖を呼び起こすもの。
That just goes to show how difficult fire is to handle and how it instinctively evokes fear.
だからそれを用いる際には加害者、
Thus, when perpetrators use it,
あえて人間に断定させてもらいますね。
they dare to assert that they're human, don't you think?
その意志と感情がはっきり出ると言われています。
It's said to be a clear declaration of their intentions and emotions.
その見地から鑑みると、たたりなど何らかの精神的な誘導による本能的殺人手段には絶対に用いない方法なんですよ。
With that in mind, it's not a method that some spiritual entity such as a curse would ever use.
すみません、ミナイさん。
Sorry, Minai-san.
もう少しわかりやすく説明してもらえませんか？
Could you explain it in a slightly more straightforward way?
なんとなく夏美たちが巻き込まれた事件との関連性が見えにくくて。
It's difficult to see how that incident is related to the events around Natsumi.
ああ、ごめんなさい。
Oh, I'm sorry.
つまり順を追って説明しますと、まずたたりの根源である対象は綿流しのお祭りが行われた6月19日の夜に神への供物となる犠牲者を焼殺した。
Then let me explain all the events tied to the curse step by step. After the Wadnagashi festival was held on the evening of June 19th, a victim was burned like an offering to a god.
その数日後にお社様に仕える村の巫女が惨殺死体で発見される。
A few days later, the corpse of Oshiro-sama's shrine maiden was discovered.
そしてその翌日、ひなみ沢村でたたりの集大成となる火山ガス災害が発生。
And the next day, the curse culminated in the volcanic gas disaster that struck Hinamizawa village.
さらにこれ以後、ひなみ沢出身者によるお社様への盲信と異常行動、そして凶悪事件が頻発するようになった。
Also, from that point on, people from Hinamizawa began exhibiting delusions and abnormal behavior directed toward Oshiro-sama, followed by frequent cases of violence.
安易にオカルト的な見解で捉えるのはなんだか癪だけど、どう考えても超常的なものが暗躍しているとしか思えないんだけどな。
It does seem a bit of a cop-out to simply accept the supernatural explanation, but no matter how I think about it, the only thing that makes sense is that something supernatural is going on behind the scenes.
確かにこの4つの事件を同一の種類のものとして捉えれば、そう考えても仕方ないでしょう。
Indeed, if you look at all 4 cases as a unit, can't help but think that.
ですが、これを個別として扱えばどうなるか。
However, what if we look at each individually?
もしかしたら
Then maybe...
何か分かったの？夏美。
Did you realize something, Natsumi?
うん。 この4つの事件それぞれが起きたことで誰がどんな影響を受けたのかって考えてみたの。
Yeah, thought about what happened and who was affected in each of these 4 incidents.
最初の事件では犠牲者が出たことで村の人たちがタタリの存在を強く感じてますますお社様への信仰を厚くしていったよね。
In the first incident, the discovery of the victims made more people believe in the curse and deepen their faith in Oishiro-sama, didn't it?
でも2度目はその存在を一番敬う立場にいるはずのお社様の巫女を殺している。
But the second incident was the murder of Oishiro-sama's shrine maiden, who should have been the person who most respected by Oishiro-sama.
これって自分を信奉させるためって目的を考えたら絶対に逆効果だよね。
If the purpose of the incidents was to make people believe in Oishiro-sama, wouldn't that have the opposite effect?
えどういうこと？
Eh? Huh? What do you mean?
ちいちゃんにもわかるように説明してよ。
Could you explain that in a way Chi-chan can understand?
つまり人々にたたる魔がつかみが不心得者に災いをもたらす理由は自分を信奉しないとこんな目に遭う
It's
ぞ
not that hard to understand.
見せしめを行うためでしょ。
So dumb. In other words, the reason that the curse rains divine wrath down on non-believers is supposed to be to make an example of what happens for those who don't believe in Oishiro-sama, right?
確かに言われてみれば変だな。
Yeah, now that you mention it, it is strange.
同じように信奉者たちに不信を植え付けながらもまるで違う意味になっている。
It also plants faith in the followers, but this is something else altogether.
そして3度目も一緒。
And then in the third incident,
村人全員にたたりをもたらして自分を恐れ敬う人たちまでもひっくるめて滅ぼしてしまった。
the curse fell upon all the villagers and even destroyed the faithful among them.
聖書の箱舟のエピソードじゃないけど本当に敬虔な信者を救って従わせるのが本来の神様のはずなのにさ。
Unlike the biblical story of Noah's Ark, where God supposedly saved his devout followers.
4度目のひなみ沢出身者による強行も同じだよな。
It's the same in the fourth incident, the murderous behavior of people from Hinamizawa.
信じている人もいない人も惨劇に巻き込まれるようになったら逆にお社様に関わることこそが危険なことだと皆が考え出す。
Believers and non-believers are both caught up in the tragedy, which makes everyone start to think that getting involved with Oishiro-sama is dangerous.
ということはお社様は自分の信者を自分自身で離れさせようとしている？
Which would mean that Oishiro-sama is trying to push his own followers away?
どう考えてもそれはおかしいよな。
No matter how you think about that, it sounds strange.
つまりミナイさんの考えだとこのたたりはお社様の意志によるものではないということですか？
In other words, Minai-san's assertion is that the curse is not caused by Oishiro-sama's will?
私は割と唯物論的な考え方なんです。
I have a rather materialist mindset.
だから神様といっても自分自身にメリットがないことをしたりはしないと考えます。
So I don't think a god would do something that wouldn't be of any benefit to them.
ということはこの一連の惨劇は恐怖に彩られて惑わされていますが実際にはお社様の名前を語って何かを企む奴らの仕業なんじゃないかって。
That means the series of tragedies is using fear to mislead people, and is actually the work of humans doing this in Oishiro-sama's name.
なんてまだ確固たる証拠をつかんでいるわけじゃないんですけどね。
However, I don't have any solid evidence of that yet.
じゃあミナイさん
Well, Minai-san?
犯人が人間だって断定するからには誰かにとって今回の惨劇は何かのメリットがあるんですか？
If you believe there's a human culprit, do you think there's someone who would benefit from this tragedy?
ええ、
Yes.
犯罪には必ず誰かにとっての有益性が存在する。
There's always someone who benefits from a crime.
それが解明できればおのずと関与する人たちの意図やその顔ぶれが見えてくるものですよ。
If we can clarify that benefit, then naturally, it'll get a better idea of the intentions of the people involved and who they are.
なるほど。
I see.
そして私は犯罪者の心理がはっきりと現れやすい第一の衝殺事件にこそ何かの秘密が隠されているんだと思っています。
And I think there's some secret hidden in the original burning case, where the criminal psychology is clearly visible.
今回の染め写しでは 残念ながら私たちの手で操作することができませんでした。
Unfortunately, during Someutsushi, we weren't able to investigate the incident ourselves.
ですが次こそその内容を調べ上げて真相を暴いてみせますよ。
But next time, we'll examine the contents to find the truth.
頑張ってくださいね、ミナイさん。
Good luck, Minai-san.
次回も頼もしい活躍期待していますから。
I'm looking forward to seeing you play in an active and reliable role next time. Play, not plan.
任せてちょうだい。
Leave it to me.
まあそれ以上にミナイさんには片付けなきゃいけない問題があるんだけどね。
Well, beyond that, or well beyond that, Minai-san has another problem to clean up.
妹さんのこととか
About her little sister.
妹さんのこととか
Her little sister.
思いっきり年上の弟さんのこととか
And her elderly brother-in-law. Mean.
それは言わないで。
Just keep poking the bear. Well, stop saying that!
いやー今回いいこと聞いちゃったわ。
Man, now isn't that a juicy little story?
このネタはまだしばらく使えそうだね。
I'll be able to make use of it for a while.
千里、あんた鬼か。
Chisato, are you a demon?
まあまだ犯人が人間かそれともタタリなのかと判断するには証拠もそして事件の詳細も不明な点が多すぎるよね。
Well, at this point there are still too many missing details and unknown variables to determine if the curse is the work of the humans or not.
だから次回ひなみ沢のことをよく知っている刑事さんたちから情報を集めることが重要な意味を持ってくるんだと思う。
So, I think it'll be really important to collect information from those detectives familiar with Hinamizawa next time.
推理はそこから始めても遅くはないかもね。
Then maybe we can build our reasoning on top of that.
そうだな。
That's right.
ミナイさんの見方はもっともだけど、今の段階では根拠もなくあれこれと言い合っているだけだし。
Minai-san's views sound reasonable, but there is not enough evidence at the stage to back her up.
もっと事件についていろいろと情報を仕入れていきたいところだよ。
I'd like to get more information from other cases.
まだアドバンスドストーリーは他にもたくさん出てくるみたいだしね。
Seems that there are several additional chapters that will come out.
それもじっくり
We'll
読んで
never finish.
本編の内容とも照らし合わせながら謎を解明していきましょう。
If we read them carefully while comparing them to the main series, maybe we can shine a light on this mystery.
それもそうですね。
That's right.
それじゃあ次回影帽子を楽しみにして、それまで私たちはこれまでのシナリオをもう一度読み返してみようか。
Well then, looking forward to the next chapter. Kagebushi? Probably Kagebushi. Maybe we should reread the previous chapters until then. Nope, not doing that. Don't.
それでは日暮らしの泣く頃に睡。次の章をお楽しみに。
That's it then. Please look forward to reading the next Higurashi When They Cry Sweet chapter. Well, well, well. Because there's technically one more thing we need to do here. One more, and then the next thing would be Kageboshi. Right? Let me make sure. I'm looking at my handy dandy chart here. Yes, that would be the next one. Great. Okay, let me get that out of the way. Okay. We gotta read the police case file epilogue thing. Ba-ba-ba, 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 ba-da-ba-ba-ba. We would be doing this one, epilogue. Okinomiya Police Station Incident Report Epilogue. Okinomiya Police Station Epilogue. Got it. After reading the last case in the file, I closed the cover and suddenly turned to gaze out the window. Eastern sky was clearly visible, and the morning sun was pouring in through the gaps between the blinds.
やれやれ。結局朝までコースか。
Good grief. Have I been in here all night? I was planning to stop after a quick look, but I just kept reading on. Is this some pathetic occupational disorder? At any rate, today's the last day I'll be involved, so maybe I just have a few lingering regrets. It's truly unfortunate. Sheer number of lives lost, and even the people who survived were driven mad. It's a personal tragedy for me, too.
Kuma-chan.
Kuma-chan. When I closed my eyes, a vision of the energetic subordinate detective suddenly floated to mind. I happened to be called into prefectural police headquarters on urgent business the day when the disaster struck, so we went to Inamazawa in my place. It's alright, Oishi-san. Please, leave it to me. You go take care of that headache waiting for you at HQ. You idiot. Of course, I wasn't directing that abuse toward him. It was targeted at myself. He went to Inamazawa to take care of something I wanted to do, and he defied orders from above to do it. Getting injured and dying while working a case is an occupational hazard in this line of duty, and I probably would have welcomed it, but it was different in his case. In other words, it feels like he died in my place. Why am I still alive? To speak those words was an insult to the dead, even I understood that, but I just couldn't help muttering it. A young man with a family and a promising future has departed this world, and his death only highlighted the disgrace of my life. Was it just luck that allowed me to live as long as I have? Or did the ones pulling the strings behind everything believe I wasn't worthy of killing? You piece of shit. I suddenly looked up toward the heavens and spat those words out. In reality, I'm retreating from this line of work without learning anything. The truth is still in the darkness. I could hear the jeering voices of those people whose faces I didn't know, and suddenly began to clench my fists. For now, best I can do is to remember, to absolutely never forget this incident, and keep it locked away in the corner of my heart. At any rate, today is my last day as a detective.
Sate, shower を浴びて着替えて、見栄えだけでも小綺麗にしておきますかね。
Well, could probably use a shower and a change of clothes just to keep up appearances. Naturally, it would be rude to stand before my peers looking shabby and filthy as they see me off on my final day. As I thought that, I bundled the massive set of files together and returned to my seat in the Criminal Investigation Division. Then I grabbed the locker key out of my desk drawer and turned toward the shower room. Just then, electronic beeping echoed out of the phone at the desk, and the extension light was lit up. When I noticed the call was directed specifically to my desk, I lifted the receiver and pushed the button.
もしもし。
Hello?
こんばんは。おはようございます。
No. Good evening, good morning. Is this Oishi-san? I heard a junior detective on the other end of the phone. That's right, he should be on night duty today. He sounded a little surprised that I was still here. Well, veteran detectives do head out pretty early in the morning, so it's natural for him to be confused. Yes, this is Oishi. Something wrong? Oh, yes. Oishi-san, you have a call from an outside line. I think it was from someone named Akasaka.
Akasaka?
Akasaka? Really? I tilted my head for a moment and quickly remembered. Wasn't he the elite investigator from Tokyo who worked with me on a case a while back? Good grief. I can't remember someone right after hearing their name. I guess the old age is kicking in. Sorry. He's an old acquaintance of mine. Please patch him through. Understood. And shortly thereafter, I heard a familiar voice coming through the receiver. Oishi-san, it's been a long time.
Oh, Akasaka-san.
Oh, Akasaka-san.
懐かしいですね。何年ぶりでしょうか。
How nostalgic. It's been years, hasn't it?
5年ぶりです。
It's been 5 years.
あの時は本当にお世話になりました。
Really? Thank you so much for all your help back then.
いやいや、そんなことは。
Oh no, it's no big deal.
大してお役にも立てませんでしたからね。
It wasn't much help anyway.
そん なことはありません。
That's not true.
おかげで目的を果たすことができましたし、それ以上にたくさんのことを教わりました。
I was able to complete my mission thanks to you, and I learned a lot along the way.
ありがとうございます。
Thank you.
やめてくださいよ。
No! Please, enough of that.
そんなことを言われ続けてると、おだてられて舞い上がった豚が木に登っちゃいますよ。
If you keep flattering me like that, even someone of low ability like me will be able to outdo myself. Although I tried to downplay it, till now I've been working in an industry that surrounded me in lies and human deception, so it was comforting to hear someone speak so earnestly. It was actually quite pleasant. A man like him is destined to do great things if he continues down this career path.
して赤坂さん、今日はどんなご用件で？
So Akasuka-san, did you have something to discuss today?
もちろん、お祝いのご挨拶ですよ。
Of course. Calling to congratulate you.
勤続40年超えのお勤め、お疲れ様でした。
Of course, I'm calling to congratulate you. Thank you so much for your 40 years of service.
ああ、これは、どうもご丁寧に。
Ah, that's very thoughtful of you.
よくご存知でしたね。誰からお聞きになったんです？
Surprised you knew about that. Who did you hear that from?
そちらの公安課の本田屋さんからです。
I heard it from Handaya-san in the public safety department up there.
先週の合同研修の際に教えていただきまして。
I found out last week when we met during joint training.
ああ、なるほどなるほど。
Ah, I see, I see.
そういうことですか。
That's how it happened, huh?
ああ、いろいろとお話をお伺いしました。
Came up when we were sharing stories.
連絡が今日まで遅くなってしまって、本当に申し訳ありません。
But I haven't been able to call you until today. Honestly, I'm sorry about that.
お気遣い痛み入ります。
Your concern is embarrassing me. Handaya probably also told him that one of my subordinates died while investigating the Hinamizawa case. Of course, there's no reason for Akasuka-san to apologize, nor did I have one to reproach him. Not at all. Still, must have filled him with regret when he found out. He probably wishes he could have helped sooner and found me some useful intel. And the same goes for me. One more thing to regret. Right after the disaster occurred, I was terrified of getting anyone else involved. After all, I didn't want anyone else to end up like Kumagai. But as a result, no progress was ever made in the Hinamizawa investigation, and it'll probably end with my retirement. It's so incomprehensible, so horrible. When faced with an opponent like that, I can't accomplish anything on my own. I should have asked for help.
そんなわけですから、大石さん。
That's why, Oishi-san.
私も本日はそちらにお邪魔させていただきます。
That's why I had to bother you today.
部外者の分際で申し訳ありませんが、どうかよろしくお願いします。
I'm sorry if it was wrong for an outsider to say anything.
いやいや、ひょっとして赤坂さん、わざわざ東京からですか？
Nonsense, Akasuka-san. You're the one who went to the trouble of calling me all the way out from Tokyo, right?
そんな、申し訳ないです。
I'm the one who should be apologizing.
まったく、こんなおっさんがいなくなるだけで、みんな大げさすぎますよ。ね。
Everyone is going to so much trouble just because this old guy's leaving. No?
何をおっしゃるんですか？
What are you talking about?
この程度では、とても受けたご恩をお返ししたことにはなりません。
At this point, still haven't repaid the favor I owe you.
どうかこれからも、いろいろとご鞭撻いただきたいので、末永いお付き合いをお願いします。
So, I want to encourage you from now on, and I hope we have a long-lasting relationship.
赤坂さん。
Kasuka-san. Such a kind young man. No, I've already done enough to disrespect him. Still, he's walking the long road on a path full of back-breaking work and little thanks. People like that get little sympathy. But I was truly proud I had the opportunity to know him. That's it. If he's involved, maybe he can do it. The answer I couldn't reach on my own. Finding the truth behind this mystery.
赤坂さん。
Kasuka-san?
もしよろしければ、ちょいと今夜、相談に乗ってもらってもいいですかね？
I'd like to have a chat with you later tonight, if you don't mind. I may just be causing him grief, but even so, if a glimmer of hope is out there, I have to reach for it. Yeah! I mean, this paired with the cast review session, it seems like the next bit we read is going to be like Oishi and Kasuga joining up with probably Tomoe to solve the case, work on the case, right? How exciting! So yeah, Kageboshi, next time we read Higurashi. At the snailest of paces, finishing these console arcs. I think I still want to stream. It was only about 2 hours. Let's, I didn't, I mean, I was busy reading, so I didn't think about which of the options we would do. What am I feeling like? Am I feeling like Blueprints? It's probably the most responsible choice, right? Yeah, let's do Blueprints. I'll get that set up. I'll do a quick little BRB. I'll get that set up. Let's play Blueprints. I'm feeling it. I just gotta get into my brain into like Blueprints mode, so. I'll be back. Give me about 5 minutes. And I will, have, I'll have, that all set up. I'll be back shortly.